PMRC and the Shanghai Institute of China, where I have visited myself. And the two institutes have since been working together, and I will be visiting Shanghai again this June to give a talk to some scholars. So this was finalized just the other day. Your Excellency, the Chinese Embassy in Zambia and Policy Monitoring and Research Center convened this infrastructure symposium to bring together various stakeholders in the infrastructure sector to come up with right consensus on how China can effectively work with Zambia to deliver sustainable and inclusive infrastructure for the Zambian people. The other notable event that we merged with the embassy was the work ethics seminar, where we saw actually the PMRC staff coming on board just because it was the embassy involved, because of the overwhelming support that the embassy continues to give the think tank. And the objective was to explore the Confucian work ethic ideology through a theoretical examination of its intent and its foundation in the Chinese culture. In China, Confucian principles are indigenous to national culture, and these principles advocate respect for work, discipline, thrift, protecting faith, order in relationships, duty to family, and economic egalitarianism. This morning, we were presenting and launching PMRC's publication on the implementation of the 7th National Development Plans, Volume 2, on how Zambia can actually implement through changing of mindsets, a mindset paradigm shift in order for us as a country and different stakeholders that are responsible in implementing this plan to make sure that we have the right mindset. But by saying that, we highlighted the fact that PMRC has been working with China.
Just as your distinguished director, dear director, Ms. Decker mentioned, that in 2017, we joined hands in holding a number of projects. And the highlights were the symposium on infrastructure. And you were right, because I read many times. There was extensive coverage of that symposium on newspapers and magazines and even on TV. And that was a great success. It was an encouragement to you. It was also an encouragement to us. It was a compliment to you. It was a compliment to us too. So we were very happy. And the other successful event we held together, there was a workshop on work ethics. And that was a joint effort between myself and the Zimbabwe ambassador to Zambia and the PMRC and other institutions. And that was also a very very successful event, because the people had talked for a long time about good work ethics of the Chinese nationals, and that was the first time we discussed as an academic issue, and it had impact on the society as well, because the Minister of Labour was there, and she spoke highly about that event. And of course, we provided training opportunities to the institution, and some of you have benefited from that. And so that was some of the events we worked together. And of course, a year back in 2016, that was 2016, right?
Yes.
You did in a work that you did in a not the MOU, and that was a research project on the situation of Chinese companies in
Yes,
Zambia.
yes,
And
2016.
you produced a final report. And that report of yours was well received.
We've been very ambitious as an institution. I think last year we ventured quite a lot in government policy as well as economic issues. And also, as our ED mentioned, I think I was one of the people, Your Excellency, that benefited from the China trip, having spent time in China and learning how the think tanks they are actually operating and working with the government. So basically, of course, with this year, our thematic areas are, the first one is on governance and trade. The second one is natural resources. The third one, economic development. The fourth one, we're looking at social protection and livelihoods. Then we also have sub-themes looking at human development as well as sustainable development goals. Your Excellency, the broader perspective for us as an institution, we are governed by the key protocols of which Zambia is signatory to, beginning from the Sustainable Development Goals. They are guiding our research work, the African Union Agenda 2063, and also the Human Development Index, as well as the Southern African Development Community SADC Protocol. And then from climate change, we're being guided by the Paris COP21, the Marrakesh COP22, and the Bonn COP23. So all the three major conferences on climate change have been guiding our works around climate change. Then locally, of course, we as an institution were also instrumental last year, Excellency, with the formulation of the 7th National Development Plan. We participated in the key technical committees and we argued some of the issues in the plan. So I think suffice to say that PMRC was a major player into the formulation of the 7th National Development Plan. However, despite us being part of the formulation of the plan, we are also still providing critique where needed and also assisting or complementing the implementation of the plan, because we believe that it is our role as a public policy think tank to actually ensure that the implementers of the plan are going on smoothly and also speedily, bearing in mind that 2017 is already gone and we have a few years as well before we start developing probably the 8th development plan. So we want that sense of agency that we learned from China to come here to Zambia so that our implementers would actually speed up with the implementation.